Okay, I don't know if I'm live yet. I'm doing a Zoom. Zoom says I'm live, so I'm going to trust that I'm live. I don't see myself actually live. Okay, I don't know if I'm live yet. There we go. It's just a delay. Great. Doing a Zoom. Zoom says I'm live, so I'm going to post our link. I don't see myself actually live. And we are going to get started. This is a daily log. There we go. It's just a delay. Great. Doing Zoom. Zoom says I'm live, so I'm going to post our link. I don't see myself actually live. Okie dokie. So today we are getting back to our daily logs. I type in my posts. Can't talk and type something different at the same time. So we are live for our PKD update. And the date is October 6th. Posted. So back to you guys. So what we're going to do is give you a quick PKD update. Let me change my background because let's go. Let's go here. Take a trip with me. All right. So so this is what we're going to do today. Is we're going to do a PKD update. So if you're not aware, PKD stands for Paleolithic Ketogenic Diet, and it's not paleo like you've read about on the internet that all the CrossFit guys are doing. It's not keto that some of the other CrossFit guys are doing from the internet. It's a very, very, very specific clinical diet designed by a clinic in Hungary. So halfway across the world from me. I'm in Los Angeles, California, United States. And it's based on like our very specific physiology. It's not like, how do I lose weight? It's not this or that. It's kind of deeply rooted in science and experiments that has 9 years of data on how it has helped people with autoimmune issues and other things. So for type 1 diabetes as an autoimmune issue, I decided that I wanted to make a little bit of a change, an experiment. I was doing the whole food plant-based diet for 3.5 years. I was doing great, but I felt like I had plateaued for a fairly significant amount of time. And so I needed to do something a little bit different to get over this last hurdle. And so I read up and researched this diet. It had lots of really good reviews, and I did research on the science behind it. It seems to make sense from what I can tell. So while it is the exact opposite of the whole food plant-based diet, which is a low-fat, high-carb diet, PKD is a zero-carb, high-fat diet. And that's because your body has two metabolisms, essentially, one that metabolizes carbs for energy and one that metabolizes fat for energy. So, so I've been doing this incorrectly in total. I think it's like 3 months, 3 or 4 months. I should get the exact date for you. PKD, and in between the two, the carb and the fat diets, I did a 5-day water fast to kind of help my body adjust, and that went really well, real smooth into the meats, which I hadn't had in 3.5 years. And so it's been going good. I'd say I did it incorrectly because I kind of read up on it from the materials on the website, and I bought some materials on it from their specific website. I did research on, asked questions on this Facebook group, and clarified some things. And the real thing that led me down this whole path was I learned that someone has fully reversed type 1 diabetes by just eating beef only, pretty much, and some offal, offal is organ meats. So like the flesh part, the muscle, and the organs, because the organs have your vitamins and minerals that you need. And she had type 1 diabetes for 13 years. She was fully on insulin, and she made a jump to the carnivore diet. And after 4 months, she did another blood test. She did not have any, she stopped using insulin, and she didn't have any autoimmune markers. Her GAD antibodies were 0. And that's the part I was looking for, that GAD antibody or these autoimmune markers. The insulin stuff, I've already kind of figured out where I can manage without insulin, because my body still produces a little bit of insulin. And I got a little bit lucky there because I was able to catch my disease early as an adult, and change my behavior very quickly. So I learned of that. Her name is Rachel, and learned of Rachel. And so I decided, well, let's try that. Let's research this and see like what's going on. That led me to the PKD diet, which is way more, structured and clinical, and a lot more results, more data points there. So I figured I'd do that instead of just randomly eating beef. And it has been going well. So in the beginning, I didn't follow PKD well, but I was doing all beef. I was eating 3 meals a day of steaks and this and that. And one of the things they say in PKD is to eat when you're hungry. And so I was hungry, and I would eat until I was full, which is not quite correct, right? So PKD it's almost like you're fasting. It's a very small amount of food. So I did the quantity of food wrong in the beginning. And then the quantity of food is about 400 grams. It all depends on the person. 400 grams, it depends on the person, your condition, and it's case by case, but 400 grams of food a day, which is kind of like a medium plate of food for a meal, but you're eating one of those a day. So then I made that adjustment like 2 months in. It's like, oh man, this is harder, right? And then I made that adjustment, and then I realized I still had some of the numbers wrong in my head. I think it might have been from the Facebook group where people were giving out the wrong information, but I had questions, and I went through the actual clinic and got the real answers. And so I was getting wasn't eating the right amount I was getting headaches, and I had some bouts where I almost threw up a couple times randomly as I was falling asleep. And I had a lot of deep fatigue where I could barely function, like the worst autoimmune fatigue you can imagine. And it was kind of regular. Sometimes it'd be a couple days in a row. Sometimes it'd just be a few hours in a day. That was really bothering me. So I worked with them, trying to figure that out. And it turns out I wasn't eating enough of the liver, so I wasn't getting the right amount of vitamins and minerals. I wasn't eating the right amount of bone marrow, which has a different set of vitamins and minerals. So I made those adjustments, and I finally got it right. Finally, I've been at it doing it right for about 3 weeks, and I have some numbers to show you. So these numbers are for This is what the clinic is giving me to try to track my symptoms that I was having and the inputs to my body and the outputs of my symptoms, pretty much. So, so one of the things that, since I started having diabetes, this is a little embarrassing, but my stool is a little bit different. So it's a little bit looser than normal in texture. And that's one of the indications of not having a healthy digestive tract, and the pancreas is in the digestive tract and all that stuff. So, so that's one of the things that we're tracking here. So let me share my screen. Okay. So, so yeah, you can see that we have, this is a pretty cool, it's very simple. This is just a spreadsheet. It tracks the amount of food in grams that I'm eating throughout the day. They shifted me from 400 grams to 350 because of my glucose numbers. So my glucose numbers were you know, usually around 100, 80 to 100 for most of these 3 months. And that's too high for this diet. Where they want you at this diet is below 80, which I thought was crazy. Not that it's bad. I've been below 80. You get below 80 when you fast, you know. But yeah, so they adjusted me down to 350, and I've lost a lot of weight. I weigh 66 right now, 64. This is today, 64 kilograms, which is 143 pounds. And I never thought I would be this light again in my life. The last time I weighed this much, I was at some point in high school, I think. I know I think it was early high school. Early high school. I weighed 140. And then I was weighing, it's a big milestone for me to get to 150. Oh man, I was buff now. But I finally was able to hold on some weight at 150. And then, yeah, so 140 is crazy to me. But I feel fine. I feel totally fine. I'm not exercising right now because I'm in this transition into the diet. They said I can start exercising after my blood work and we get a little more understanding of what everything is. And then after that point, I'll probably get my muscle back. But yeah, so 350 grams of food a day. I split that up into 2 meals to spread it out. And now my blood sugars they've been below 80 this whole time. These are my ketones. And for the PKD, you want your ketones to remain over 2. So I'm well above that. And I thought this was interesting. So I'm going to make an adjustment to my daily log to add things like this. These are my symptoms. And so these numbers here are a scale of 1 to 10. Now in the past, on my other chart, I was just using X's, right? Like, did I hit my mark or not? Or did I do something? Now, some things are binary. It's a yes or no. But some things have a scale to them, like headaches or fatigue and stuff like that. So where am I going? So I'm going to add these to my things, and you can see I was getting headaches like consistently every day, and then slowly I stopped them. I had one bad day where I was fatigued and had headaches out of the blue. Don't know why, but yeah. So other than that, it's been going really, really, really well. Fun fact, you want to talk about poop? There's a very stark comparison when you're doing a high fiber diet, which is the whole food plant-based diet, versus this PKD diet, which is kind of like, it's like low inputs of food, so it's low amount of food, but it's also the type of food doesn't have a lot of fiber in it, so that it goes through your digestive system slower, and you actually absorb a ton more of all of it. So you don't go to the bathroom that much. I go to the bathroom like once a week-ish, give or take, which is crazy. So yeah, it's a huge time saver. Productivity tip. All right, so that's just the update on PKD. I'm finally doing it right. I'm getting the results that the clinic wants, and so the next step for me with this is to get my blood test. So next week I'm setting up a blood test. Hopefully that is approved on that date through my doctor's office, and we will have some results to review. I'm very, very, very interested on what they are. I'm going to have the clinic in Hungary, Paleo Medicina. They're also going to review them. So I'm going to have, I'll probably do a video on this after they've reviewed it. So they've done their interpretation. And so I can give you kind of their smart interpretation of it rather than my dumb interpretation of it, my uneducated interpretation. All right, so that's our PKD update. Next thing is I need to get back to my daily logs. And this is something that is gonna help me on my path to finding a cure for type 1 diabetes. So, and reversing it for myself. So, so yeah, I'm gonna check in before we transition with Facebook, see if we have any comments up in here. Let's see, where are we? Chats. Okay, cool. No chats, no chats. So if you do have questions, just jump in. I'm not even sure anyone's watching, but right now live, but that's okay. I'm doing this for myself and I'm inviting you in. I'm welcoming you guys in to do this with me. All right, so what we're gonna do now is I am out of date with my daily logs. So I'm just gonna update my daily logs and you guys can join me in the chat and ask me questions around it. Some people have questions on how this stuff works, all of that. This is basically just a very simple tracking for all of my experiments that I'm running. All the experiments that I'm running, so I can make sure, there we go, that I can make sure that I'm, doing the things I expect to do every day to keep myself accountable. And I'm just logging this. So for science and for insights, right? So data like this is going to help us understand what I'm doing that is working, that's getting me toward the path of fully reversing this thing. It takes a lot of time and a lot of diligence to do this every day. And that's why I'm going to rededicate myself to getting into my daily logs where I'll be covering this stuff. All right, so I need to make it my October because we are already in October. And let's see, today was Tuesday, so Tuesday, let's just go to my calendar. October started on a Thursday. Oops. Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday. We do have 10. A little bit more space here. These 4 digits. Okay. All right. Just cleaning this stuff up, guys. I'm gonna do a little bit of this. I'm not gonna take too much time right here. Checking in the chat. And we are going to So energy, I'm gonna make this on a scale now. Wake up with good energy. So today is the 6th. Let me fix these highlights. Formatting takes a little bit of time. I need to make an app for this thing because it's all this faster. I woke up with, I would say, 8 amount of energy, man. I feel really good this morning. We are in mid-morning right now. I also feel, I don't know, I think I'm at a 9. I feel really good. Approved, so PKD, there's approved food sources. So right now, my approved food sources are beef, lamb, eggs, up to 2 a day maximum, salt, pepper. I feel like I'm forgetting one more thing. I think honey was okay for me up to 20 grams a day, 20 grams of carbs of the honey a day. So, but I'm not doing honey. I felt a little bit of uneasiness a couple times when I was eating it, so I'm just not doing it. And the types of meat are important, not the cuts, but it has to be grass-fed, grass-finished, no antibiotics, and no hormones added. Okay, free range for the chickens. So that's approved. So I have already made my meals for the day. I've eaten my first meal. So everything's going to be, this is yes or no, approved sources. We got to update this to be 350 now. And then I'll just put 2-to-1 fat. Fats. Oh, so for the newbies of PKD, they also have, in addition to the calorie or the quantity restriction, they also have this very specific ratio, not just high fat, but a specific ratio. Everything's very, very detailed, which I love because it's, you know exactly if you're doing it right. And so it takes more work. I'm not saying it's easy. It's definitely harder. But it's a very specific 2-to-1 fat to protein ratio, which is kind of hard to get down at first. And they make it easy by doing lean meat to fat, and you can weigh out the pre-cooked versions of those to figure out how to get to this ratio. It's really easy. So it's usually it's 100 grams of lean meat to 35 grams of fat, and that gets you to the 2-to-1 ratio that you need. So yeah. So I'm not done eating, so I'm planning on doing all this right stuff, right? But since I'm not done, I'm not going to predict the future here. So this kidney does not count. Actually, it's just the liver. Okay. So did I get 8 hours of sleep? Yes. And this one, I should probably say this: hours of sleep, and I did a 10 to 5:30. Sorry, 10 to 5:30. Yeah, so that's 7.5. Yesterday, adjusting my schedule here. We are doing 5:30, folks. 5:30. We're not doing any exercise. That's all going to be blank. I've been really crushing my hydration, but I'm kind of fasting, right? So when I'm fasting, you know, I'm used to doing the water fast. You're a little hungry, you just kind of chug some water. It cools down your stomach in terms of its heat for hunger, if you will. And yeah, it gets you by. And so definitely lots of water, crushing the water. Natural sun, I've been crushing my natural sunlight. I've been doing really good all these days. The only days I've missed over the last month, I think, has been if it's overcast and you can't see the sun. And I'm outside right now, getting some sun. Yeah, it's been doing really good. I haven't been doing sunsets at all, though. We're just the beginning. Now, the placebo stuff, I've been getting deep into this. Deep. I'm going to revise what all these things are, but I've definitely been doing all my affirmations and visualization. And not just that, but taking it to another level. I'm also adding to my business, which I think is going to be awesome. No supplements now. I have the Wim Hof app now. I've been doing it. I did it this morning. I didn't do it yesterday. Been doing my meditations every day. I'm on a streak of like 30 something in a row. Doing really good. No coffee, tea, caffeine. I should change this to being stress level. There, oh, you know, I have some good stress here. I don't know how to gauge that really, but it's better than just a binary line. No illnesses. I did have a little tickle in my throat this last couple of days. Nothing here. It's glucose, ketones. I have these over here. At 6, man, my glucose and my weight in kilograms are the same. 63 and 6.5. 63 this morning, 6.5. Again, if you're just tuning in, you're not familiar, this is without any insulin. There's no medication taken. No medication taken for a long time. Is it steroid? I don't know, it's oil. Did it? These are not scales. These are diamond. Cool. All right. So yeah, that might not have been that fun to watch, but this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to update a little bit more of this offline, maybe a little bit more tomorrow on my daily log. Basically, I'm going to be updating these every day and doing a daily log, reviewing this is my quantitative data that we're going to use for scientific research on my journey to figure this out. So we have some data to go off of, not just my thoughts and feelings and memories. And I'm also going to give you my thoughts and feelings, memories on the day of in the video to capture that as well for backlogging reasons. And you feel free to join me on these. I'm going to do them. I'm going to try to do them in the mornings on the West Coast. And yeah, I'm trying to do them on the mornings on the West Coast. If you have questions, you can just jump in and ask there. I'm going to do these live. I don't have time to do editing or anything on these. They're just going to be raw. They're just going to be straightforward. It's going to be me doing my thing, just documenting stuff and sharing it with the world. And hopefully you and I and a collection of others, we will figure this out within our lifetime. You know, one of my visions for this is that we will find a cure that's repeatable, and it'll be made affordable and available to everybody in the United States and first world countries. I can't speak for other countries. There's lots of other things that go on and other issues they're dealing with, but for first world countries, we're going to find a way to do it. And it'll take a lot of hard work. It's going to take a lot of diligence to get there, a lot of meticulous note taking, and a lot of experiments. And that's what I'm doing. We're just doing one big experiment here, one big challenge to reverse type 1 diabetes. So if you're with me, if you want to help, or if you're just curious on what the journey is going to be like, go ahead and subscribe so you never miss out. If you like the video, just hit like, just for me. I want to know what you guys vibe with, right? And I'll try to adjust things as I go. These daily logs, I'm probably not going to customize too much. It's really just me. But maybe there's little things I do that you really liked about the video. Leave a comment on what those are, and then I'll be sure to keep those going forward. All right, I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me on my very kind of boring daily log, but it's the true behind the scenes, behind the curtain of what actually goes on for someone doing this day to day. And this is how we're going to get it done, guys. And it's going to get done a lot faster if we collaborate and do it together. All right, guys, have a wonderful day, a wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you later.